This is an unscripted video, and we have Kiki in the house. She lives here. We have Kiki in the studio.
Yeah, in the studio.
Okay, Kiki, how far?
I did.
So, what do we talk about? Let's talk about parenting.
Okay.
Parenting.
You've changed it. I thought we were talking about marriage. Well,
No,
let's go.
parenting.
Let's do
parenting. Let's
that.
talk about parenting a bit. Well, I mean, we can also talk about marriage, but let's talk about parenting.
Okay.
So, if you're new to the channel, you're welcome. This is called Simplified, and here we just try to take things that are serious, but talk about it in simple ways so that we learn, we get blessed. So we talk about truth, life, wisdom, and we do some tech stuff also. So welcome. Kiki is my babe. Alpha.
Indeed.
So parenting, Kiki, we've been married now for what, 11 years, going on 12. In a short explanation, what's your experience? What have you learned being a parent? What can you say about parenting for all this 11 years?
Okay. The first thing, of course, you knew that. I think I was pretty scared to.
Yeah, I know that.
I had this phobia about having kids. I'm like, oh, they come and they take over.
Yeah.
I just had that notion, you know. And they actually did come and take over in some sense, but it was a good one. It was good. It was not as I feared. That which I feared didn't happen. So parenting has been, it's been a tough journey. When I say tough, because it's not easy. Yeah. Having babies is not for babies. No, it's not. You know, I mean, in those days when our parents annoy us to just say, oh, I just want to get married and have my own baby. You know, it was just a fantasy girls had, like, oh, let me just run away from mommy's nagging and daddy's disturbing
and being charged.
And be in charge and have my own little cute baby.
But they don't stay little for long.
No, and they don't stay cute always. You know. So I guess for me, looking back in retrospect, our first is 11. And, you know, there are things I probably learned looking back that now I know, you know. There are times I feel tempted, like, maybe we should do a third and just all the things we want to correct.
And use the experience.
I use them, you know.
No, Buhari is still president. No. I can't afford another child. Anyway, so talking about that, do you feel like, I mean, you have two boys. Ethan is 10.5, Sean is 7.5. Almost 8. Sean will be 8 in 2 months. Do you feel sometimes that you could have done some things differently? Do you have that feeling sometimes?
Yes, I do. Just, you know, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, where there are things I would. It's always in looking back, because your children actually teach you more than adults. So looking back, I would say there are some things that in a child you can put in a child, you can correct in a child earlier than we think.
Okay.
Earlier than we think.
So to start early to do some things that will.
To guiding them intentionally.
As against
it's just a
waiting.
He's a child. He's a little, you know.
Yeah.
And also because I mean our children are still young, so there's no regrets. We're just
you still
on
have
a journey.
Time to implement what you're learning.
Implement a lot of things, but it's just an eye opener and a lot of prayer. So I pray so feverishly over my children. Sometimes it's like panic, like, oh.
I know that.
You look ahead and you're like, I don't want this. You know, I don't want to see this in 2 years' time.
Yes, I don't want this to progress. So we have to like. Treat it now.
Yes, you know, but you also see their capabilities, their abilities, their gifts. It's so beautiful watching them grow, becoming their own person, how different they are, you know, living under the same roof, and also how they've influenced each other.
Yes, Ethan becoming more like Sean, Sean becoming more like Ethan, the quiet one, making the noisy one more quiet, and, and like that. Okay, so let me go back a bit. You know, you said, and I know this very well, that you had your little phobia about being a mother, having children, and you really want to. I mean, just to let you know, we almost didn't get married because of children. Because when we were dating and then we're talking about getting married, Kiki wanted one child. Can you imagine that? She wants to have one child. And I wanted to have 3 children. And I said, Kike, let's have 3 children. And you're like, 1 and 3. I'm like, 1. I'm like, no, 3. You know? And we settled for 2. And let me tell you this part of it. One day I woke up, because it was a serious issue where we're not making progress in our journey to being married. And then one day I woke up and asked myself, we're arguing about 3 children and 1 child. What if we don't even have any child? Do we give children? God gives children. There are many people who are married and they don't have children. And it's not any fault of theirs. It's not that they're not righteous or something. No, it's the way of life. I mean, when we get to heaven, we ask God all the questions. But people are married and they have no children. And there we were arguing about how many children we're going to have. And because of that, we're not going to get married and all that. Stupid us. Anyway, that phobia, where did it come from?
I wouldn't say it came. I can't trace it. I don't think it has a history. It was just a personal thing where I knew I could see the potential of children, like living with my sister and my nephews.
Because you grew up in a home where there were loads of kids growing up.
I grew up with, my mom had 9 of us, so having 8 siblings, knowing that it's a non-stop journey. The moment you start it, it's just like a whirlpool or a roller coaster that doesn't stop.
Just keeps going.
Yeah, and because I had so many, gifts, talent, abilities, and desires, I was just trying to be sure that they wouldn't push me away from.
Truncate your personal development.
That's the perfect word.
The expressions you want to have.
Yes.
Just with the responsibility of being a mother.
Of being a mother. Because for me, I wanted to be 100% hands-on mother. Present mother. Not mother that is all over the place doing everything and giving little time to the family.
So now, looking back now, at that point, what would you say to someone who is in that place now, a young girl or young lady who is having this reservation about being a mother, and I think the word is the what am I looking for? The greatness, the enormity of this task, being a mother. What would you say to them? Are you looking? I'm just trying to get it. Are you, or were you in a place where it was 1 child would make it okay, or in a place where I'd wait until I fulfill some of my potentials, then I can have a child later or have children later. Looking back now, what would you advise someone who has that kind of
a similar reservation? Would be, because I mean, over the years I've seen that they don't stop you. They don't stop you. It's like it's like getting on a bus and going ahead. You stop when you get to a bus stop or you need to pick something up. Yeah, I find that you can actually carry on with children
and still do what you want to do. You have to find a way.
Find a way, and actually there's always a way.
Okay.
I guess I didn't see the way because I was not yet on the journey, and also knowing that we're stronger than we think we are.
Yeah.
I remember when Ethan was born, the first child, and at a point I didn't even know how to get back to church, like get back to doing. I was just
to resume your life.
Resume my life
because this baby is the center of your life now. Pastor Yemi told us when we were when Ethan was born, he told me, he said, Ben, your life would never be the same again. And he's correct, because this child influences every decision you make, everything you do, everywhere you are.
Everywhere you are.
You are out and about, and your mind is processing differently because he's a baby. Has he eaten? Is he sleeping? Is he running the temperature?
You're changing nannies.
Who is with the child now? What influences? And my own experience, what I've learned is, yes, they are fragile. Yes, they demand a lot of intervention and care, and I mean, you have to give a lot of yourself to your children, but they're good. They're good.
They're always good. That's what I've learned. They're good. Strange. You know what happened?
They'll be fine.
Once Ben says you need to take a break, so he sent me off out of the country and put me in a nice. It was just pampering me, but of course in his mind he knew she won't. He's a good husband.
And he tries once more.
Yeah, he did try. Yeah, and So, of course, in his mind, he's thinking, this girl will be there, but her head and her body will be, her spirit will be home. Yes. So he says, go, I'm here. Look, I'll take care of the kids, and my
cousin was around, the nanny was around.
So they're fine, you know? And there I was in the hotel where I'm supposed to be relaxing and just, you know, being pampered. But and I'll be calling like 5 times a day. How are you? How are you? Have you eaten?
I mean, you were up to, have you warmed the other food? And
telling them what to do. But then I realized the children, I'll say, put them on the phone, let me talk. They're so busy. Oh, mommy, I'll talk to you later. I'm busy playing. And I was like, they're not even missing me. They don't even notice I'm not here.
They'll be fine.
So they'll always be fine. Those children,
it's the same experience.
Always be fine.
I learned early, when you send the kids to school, boarding house school, I mean, the first time you're so worried, would they be fine by themselves? They've never been away from home. Would they know what to do when there's a conflict? How would they manage? What if they're in trouble? And you have all this fear, and then you just send them to school, and the first term you are not resting.
Wow.
And then it's visiting day, and you go and visit them, and you are interrogating the teacher, the house master, like, tell me the truth. What has been going on? They're fine.
They're fine. There's
nothing to tell.
They're
good. You know, so I think that's an important lesson. Children will be fine.
They'll be fine.
So don't panic.
Hold your breath.
But then there's one other part. You know, we get into parenting not knowing what to expect, because each child comes as a separate package, as a different package. You don't know what child you are going to get. You don't know what's going to be their strengths, their weaknesses, their character flaws. Even sometimes they come with physical flaws. They may have something in the body. You know, it is the child you receive that you deal with. I mean, you can learn everything about parenting, but you have to get that child first and hold them and see who the child is, and their needs and their uniqueness will determine how you adapt your parenting, how you relate with this child. Some children, you start engaging them like adults because they can engage you at that level. Some needs more pampering, some needs more correction. You correct one child more than the other. You know, but what, for me, now let me just share this. For me, I'm always conscious of 2 things. I'm conscious not to love one child more than the other. It's always in my head. I'm always re-examining myself. What I just did to this child, will I do it to his brother? What I gave to this, the way I handle this situation, you know, I'm always examining myself, because I think that is a very tricky place to be. What is your experience with that? Ethan and Sean?
I guess, like you said, the difference between their personalities, their behavior, sometimes demands more discipline than another.
Yeah.
You know, and then you start to remember the other day I called you at work. I was worried. I was feeling down, because I was like, okay, am I a good parent?
Are you doing enough?
Am I doing enough? Am I doing it well? You know, am I being too stern or being too lax? You know, in some areas, and so I find that because a particular child needs more scrutiny, it needs more discipline because of his, you know, characteristics or behavior. You find that maybe you just find yourself always correcting this child.
One, and not the same level of correction on the other one.
Or always on his case, and the other one, because the other one is doing well without much, you know, interference. But I think we find where to balance it. So we intentionally have to, let's have a movie night, let's take a walk together.
To make everybody feel that this love
accepted.
is equal, this attention. Because one child will draw more attention from you than the other. That's a natural thing. It depends on the child. But you have to be intentional. You
know what I discovered, which I think a lot of parents haven't discovered, or maybe they could learn, is once upon a time, the boys and I established something we call Mother-Son Day, okay? Because I realized that many times when we have multiple children, we are trying to carry them along all the time. For example, perfect example, I'm going shopping and I take both of them in the car to the shops because you want them to have a shopping experience.
Yeah.
But you end up talking
more than you are shopping,
shouting all the way, almost running over the car because there's too much.
Yeah.
you know, they demand too much attention, especially when they're together. There's the argument, the fights, and the, you know, contention, or just even too much play. And then I realized, how about we try to do it one at a time? Just the way you talk to God and you don't hear somebody else talking at the same time.
So the child can have the attention, can feel that I have the attention, the full attention of my parent.
At that time.
Not with my brother, not with my sister.
So I started separating them. I said, today you're going out with me. Let's go for a drive. Today we're going for a walk, and it's Ethan's turn, not Sean's turn.
Yeah.
And I found it was more relaxing for me.
And was it helpful for the child?
It was very helpful. And they were actually looking forward to it. And it was a time when we could actually engage productively.
Have conversation, get to know the child, you know.
Yes.
I think that's a very good point.
It is,
you know, to create a time with just one child. You know, and engage them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you one more question, Kiki, because I mean, it's not every day Kiki is in the studio, right? Now you have 2 children. We have 2 children. Do you want to have another?
Sometimes I'm tempted, but I remember my age and all the many things that still need to be done, and I'm not interested. If it happens, of course, I don't pray for it, because it's not, I mean, I just feel there's so much to put in these ones, you know, yeah, so we're good.
Okay.
We're a good team. You hold on, I hold on. Especially. So,
Psalm 127 verse 1, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build. Now this is applicable in building a home, a marriage, but I think it's also applicable in raising kids. We need God's help to raise kids properly, because we don't know.
No.
We don't know the future. So we're going to do things that we're going to regret 5 years down the line. I know if I had known, I would have raised this child this way, or I would have handled this situation differently. But parenting requires God, my view. You need God to raise a child properly, because God created that child. God knows the child more than you do. God knows what is their strength, their weakness, the best way to handle the situation. We need to go back to Him every day. He's the one that owns the manual of that child and raise the child. Just before we go, I want to also say something about my observation from a lot of parents. I think a lot of times we are trying to live our lives in our children. The kind of career we didn't have, the kind of opportunities we didn't have. So you were meant to be a footballer, you think so, but you broke your leg early or something, or your parents didn't allow you to play football, they wanted you to be a doctor. So you're looking for your child, does he have the potential for football? You know, you want to make up with your child. I think that's a tricky place to go to. We need to be intentional to look out for the child, discover the child. What is this child going to be? Not what do I think he should be, what do I want him to be? Where is he going to? What are his strengths? And it will evolve with time. So as a parent, I think the best thing to do is to create opportunities, allow them to find opportunities to express themselves, so that in those various expressions you can find that you can learn. I think this child's got strength here. I think this child likes to do this. You observe the child in the first 5, 10, 15 years, and then let the child grow into but give them the opportunities. Don't stifle them like my father did, who didn't allow me to play football a lot, because I was always, excuse me, I was always meant to be an engineer, you know, because I liked being an engineer. My mother wanted me to be a doctor. I think I'm going to do a video where I just talk about my childhood.
Title, my mother wanted me to be a doctor,
because it was there's a lot of story there. Trust me, you want to hear that. But before I go, Kiki, do you have any other thing you just want to say to us?
Yes, something, you know, over the years of praying over the children, which is very important. Find time to always pray over them, lay hands on them. But the one thing I found, like a manual, a guide, was when Noah, in the book of Genesis, he went to God, and God gave him a blueprint of how to build the ark. God was so specific in the details. He said, cut this cubit 6 by 10. Johnson, God gave him dimensions, measurements, centimeters and diameters. And I believe that all of that rests with God. And if we pray, if we come into His presence, if we ask Him and say, Lord, this ark, this child that's supposed to be an ark in the world, to protect the world, to preserve a generation. Give me the dimensions, give me the specifications, the blueprint of what this child needs. And it's not a one-day prayer, it's every day.
Yeah. Some
things you pray about, you won't see the results now, but you will see them in the future.
Preach, preacher. Parenting, there's so much to talk about. So let me know in the comments if you want us to do videos like this. I mean, this is not planned. I've been in the studio all day working, and she came into the studio like, can we talk? And I said, okay, we can talk in front of the camera. So what do you think? Do you want us to do more videos like this? There's so much to talk about, even on parenting, you know, because I do some teaching on parenting, and I do have scripts that I teach with. Maybe I could share some of those here, go into more details, some of the nitty-gritties about correcting, about creating world for your children, and things like that. So maybe we could do another video where we can go more, and then we could do a video on marriage and a few other things. So let me know in the comment below if you think that's a good thing, and give a shout out to Kiki in the building. So thank you for watching. This has become a long video. I think it's almost 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
So thank you for watching. Thank you for being there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. This is simplified. We just talk difficult things in life and try to simplify it. Please subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. If they bless you, they may bless someone else. Give us a like. And what the like does is it allows YouTube to think that people want this video, people like this video, so it brings it up in the search so many people can see it and be blessed just like you are blessed. So thank you for watching. Ding the notification bell so when we do another video, you will know when it's out. And see you in the next one. God bless you.